Let's get to Christy Malthouse, who's got one of the Eagles' assistants, Robert Wiley.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, Robbie, 2 goals up. You happy with the movement of the ball at the moment?
Yeah, look, we probably let Carlton back into the game over the last 10 minutes, but you know, it was a very encouraging first half. Our intensity was great, and you know, we got some good result from our hard work through the midfield.
Got to play some of your young players, and quite impressed with Chris Judd.
Yeah, I suppose it's a time when you like to experiment, but Chris has worked very hard in pre-season. He's earned his spot, and he's certainly shown some great signs. So, you know, I think there's some very good things to come.
Peter Matera receiving some treatment on his right hamstring there. Is that a concern?
No, he'll be right. He'll be starting again this half, so hopefully we can get a bit of football through the midfield through Peter.
Thanks for your time,
No
Robbie.
worries, Christy.
Anthony.
Thanks, Christy. There he is, the man in question, Peter Matera. So the Eagles, as we said, they wouldn't take any chances, but he went off and he is back out there. So ahead to the third quarter then.
Well, it's interesting, Sauce. I suppose the thing you ask yourself is, and it was raised just then, the intensity has been superb from West Coast in the first half, and they're playing a lot of youngsters, and the thing you probably ask yourself is their ability to just keep that part of the game up.
Yeah, that's probably the question mark, whether they can maintain it for 4 quarters, but that's something that we've got to watch and see, and I'm sure Johnny Worsfold will be pressing that home.
Third quarter about to get underway. No one allowed in that bigger of the 2 circles until the ball hits the turf. And the 2 ruckmen coming from the outer point of it. Being trialled in this Wizard Cup. Cousins, the first kick of the third quarter. Murphy, crunch. Oh, memories of, was it Alan Turner? And
great commitment.
Way back in Jet Thompson, way back in 77, I think. And that is,
yeah, he's in a bit of trouble,
Jeremy Hum, maybe.
You could just see it coming. Murphy, I think Murphy saw it coming and he just waited and the other 2 went crunch into each other.
Well, Cox went down in the middle as well, Hutto. Fell
Ended up
flat on his back.
Have a look at this. That is courage that hit heads.
Wow.
But that is courage. I mean, you don't like to see a player knocked out, but, you know, that is total commitment.
Well, there's certainly no let-up for West Coast.
Well,
a bit of concern.
Haynes was the other player involved. You can see him, and he's up and he's okay, number 38. But
yeah, not good, that. You really don't like seeing players get hurt in that manner. But we just see Cox there going down to the ruckwork. May just look as though he's hurt his knee a little bit.
He seems to be okay now, though. He's up and walking.
We just hope this young lad's okay.
Well, the last time I was here, Sauce, it was you being carried off.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure on this occasion, but I can tell you when you get knocked out, it generally doesn't hurt. You don't remember anything, so that's one thing. Generally, you're not in any pain, but you know, I just you can't say enough. You can't say enough words here to say how courageous this effort was, and obviously that's one of the kids' qualities.
Fantastic intent for the ball from both players, and again, and we've made mention throughout the game just of Johnny Worsfold, and it's typical of the way he played, and certainly it'd be something that has been instilled even in the early part of his coaching at West Coast.
There's no question that that's come through in this game with the West Coast younger guys, and just on that incident, I mean, you'd probably run with a flight of the ball on 10 occasions, and you probably get you know, hit like that 1 out of the 10, and I just hope the young kid, even though you don't like seeing that type of thing, that he just keeps his eye on the ball, and I'm sure he would, because I know the West Coast match committee and coaches would be continuing and congratulating him on his effort.
So a little bit of rearranging for West Coast now. Just shortly, Jeremy Hum will make his way off the ground. It's probably, just hope he is all right.
Dakes, it's actually probably a good time for the coaches at this stage. This break just enables them to get their matchups right. Obviously, they've come out at the start of this second quarter. There'll be a few positional changes, and both coaches will be able to reassess their matchups. So it's a good opportunity just to gain a bit of time to go over a few things.
Good to hear. Sorry, Dakes. Good to hear the crowd giving him a cheer then, as he goes towards the race.
You see Johnny Worsfold there. He looks a little bit concerned, but I'm sure he's still focused on this game.
Fletcher may be on for West Coast now as Jeremy Humm comes off. West Coast naturally, Hutto will take possession.
And Carlton have actually created a flood down in their back half.
Yes, they've only got one player who's behind from where the ball's going to be kicked.
If he goes long, you are going to have to be very good to take a mark here.
Well, he went short. Now the fast break is on, and Murphy can almost go in basketball style and lay it up, but he just couldn't quite get clear enough. But that was a very clever kick. And Favola finishes it off. He nails it. Great fast break goal.
It's great to be coming back. It's going to be a big challenge, I think. The last piece of the jigsaw is, can I still do it?
Footy's back, and everyone wants to be
Look,
part.
I can't confirm anything at this stage.
Well, I'm not saying yes, and I'm not saying no, all right?
Rumour has it that Grant Williams could be lining up for the Blues.
元 AFL スタービリー・ブラウンですが
I'll come off the bench as long as I get a game.
See how your team's shaping up for 2002 in the Wizard Home Loans Cup.
So they worked it beautifully, the Blues. They now only trail by 9 points. Back in the middle, Matty Allen, who's been such a very good player. Franchina missed it. West Coast through Fletcher, through the traffic he goes. They go into attack. Running onto it is Haynes. Takes it onto that right foot. Goes out wide. Kerr should have gone. Murphy did, but in the end, good mark. Big Troy Wilson with a clear advantage. And a mark that you'd expect him to take as Justin Murphy drifted back. Here it is on screen. And since the first quarter, I think that's his first mark, Troy Wilson.
Is there, just thinking back to that last bit of play, Sauce, and we'll get a bit of time in a minute to talk about it, is there a lesson to be learned from that by the Eagles? Do you keep a few players back in that situation and not let the possible rebound happen?
Yeah, well, it just tells you you've got to use the ball, Hutto, and that's what happened. They didn't use the ball correctly, and obviously they got it on the turnover.
So a chance for him to hit back, and he does it beautifully, Troy Wilson. He answers with a goal.
People say I always complain. Kentucky Derby chops, 26.95. About paying too much for things. Filet mignon, 25.95. Ha! Too expensive. But not this time. You get a 4-door Kia Rio with A for only $49.90. So do you hear me complaining now?
Finish.
Troy Wilson's kicked 2 today for the Eagles, and that just gives them that 15-point barrier again. Plenty of Blues through the middle. They shared it well. Camporelli, Franchina, and now they can go forward. Good punch away, though, on Favola. And Wooden it is that cleans up. Reed's got some space. Looks up ahead, not much on offer. That's why he had to switch the play. Uses Cox through the middle. Fletcher kept on running. Out wide, Rowan Jones. Again, Wilson makes the lead. It was not a good kick. He fluffed it off the inside of the boot. And Bradley takes the mark. Got Prendergast leading for him at centre-half forward. Goes longer. He positioned himself pretty well, Prendergast. Brought it to the front. Blues certainly better momentum up. Tough back there. Favola, he's paid the free kick. And I'm not sure about it. Sauce, what did you think?
Yeah, he probably got a slight push in the back. It was probably a better effort than his last one, Brendan Favola. He's got a habit, it certainly was a free kick, but he's got to get out of the habit of allowing the ball going over his head. He's got to try and bring it down in front, so that's very important.
Let's get an update on Jeremy Humm from Christy Malthouse.
Yeah, Anthony, I'm told that he's as okay as he can be after such a heavy knock. He's awake, he's talking, and he doesn't seem to have any other injuries besides a sore head.
Thanks, Christy. Here's Favola, then important kick for the Blues. It's away to the left. I think he's missed it. Behind, and they really needed better than that. 8-3, plays 10-5.
Should have done more with that, Brendan Favola.
Well, it's his bread and butter. He is a good kick, but as I said earlier, he's just got to try and bring the ball down the ground just to give his smaller players a better option.
So Wooden short to Fletcher, hands back to Wooden. Back in a support role. Nowhere to go. And goes in long. No one out there. All Carlton as Wiggins takes the mark for the Blues. Inboard he goes to Fletcher. Or sorry, Murphy. We're certainly into that second quarter. Has figured in Carlton's revival.
And this is where you've got to use the ball, Dakes. You've got to be patient, and players have to keep providing options.
So he goes long in the direction of Prendergast. Sitting back over the back is Plunkett. Jimmy will kick it and kick a point. So a chance, another chance for the Blues.
Gee, Carroll caught one then. Caught one across the head.
Yeah, I didn't see that, Hutto, but Jimmy Plunkett really had created 2 opportunities in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Blues are certainly working away at the Eagles, who really do seem to have just lost their momentum. They can't seem to bring the ball out of defence as they were so easily in the first half. Matera waited again. He didn't find his man Colica on the full. Had to back up his earlier work. Matera's kick meant for Gardner. Good spoil from Beaumont. And the ball close to and now over.
Great spoil from Beaumont in the end. And I mentioned earlier, he's certainly come on as a player. No room for Gardner.
It was great play. He's given away a lot of height there and really gave him no space whatsoever.
Allen. Fletcher it was that knocked it forward. Doubling back for the Blues. Eccles. Lost it. Fletcher again. Who's done well. That's a free kick. Just a little shove. And no advantage paid. Matera was trying to get away with it.
Benny Cousins has only managed 1 possession in this third quarter. Key to West Coast.
Short kick. Matera, a little fumble.
This is where they have to be patient, Dakes. Last time they were up in this area, they turned the ball over and Carlton ran it down for a goal.
It's pretty slow getting it in, West Coast.
They need movement.
Well, they got some movement. That was great delivery. Fantastic delivery. And on the end of it, Rowan Jones, an unlikely key forward to come out and take the mark.
Hutto, it was probably in the right bloke's hands too. Peter Matera's got exceptional skills and he didn't waste the opportunity. And it was well placed and a lovely mark.
Good pressure mark, Sauce.
It was.
Jones,
he had to take the grab. I mean, he could have had soft hands there, but let's hope he kicks a goal.
His 8th possession of the day. Here's away to the right. He didn't say that with much conviction, I must say, Sauce. You hope he kicked the goal. 10 goals, 6 the Eagles, 8 goals for Carlton.
I think the hard work should be rewarded.
Still on the Blues payroll, you know that, Hutto?
Don't worry about that. He's on plenty of payrolls as Sauce.
They're still paying you,
assistant
Jakes,
coach.
pies.
With pies. So the Blues turn it into attack now. Houghton underneath the ball. Knocked away by the Blues then. It was Thornton. He finds a boundary and the ball will be thrown in. So Carlton have hit back. They now trail by 14. Matty Allen will start from behind, then work his way to the front. No, Cox does well to shield it. Matty Allen side on. Rapunda, West Coast, 70 from goal. That's a terrible kick and ends up on the full. He has had a lot of the ball. Blues through Beaumont. Very short and undecisive. Beaumont decides to go long. Matty Allen from behind Merrington, 2 by 3. He's got it. So stop-start football at the moment. Good kick out in front, and Matty Lappin has it for the Blues. Still a long way from home. Goes to the left, back to the right. Will be shepherded by Allen. Gives his teammate time. Lappin sends it up. Livingston was there and had to go. Loose ball will come to Bradley. Tries to shovel it back. Rapunda, well aware of what he was trying to do, goes out wide. And the ball doesn't stay in. Kept in by Haynes. But no, says the umpire. Boundary throwing West Coast into attack. And they lead by 14 points.
You would have been happy to see that go out, Matty Lappin. He actually had 2 on to 1. So fortunately, he got the bounce the right way with the ball going over the boundary line.
Well, the Eagles leading here, but they are under a lot of pressure from Carlton.
It's a bit of an arm wrestle at the moment. Sorting out.
Margin is 14. Gardner, decisive tap at Murphy it was. Miranda, sandwich between a couple of Blues. Wiggins, one of them.
I'd love to see Michael Gardner actually just really for the exercise, drop him back in the goal square. I'd love to see what Carlton would do if that situation arose, because the luxury that they do have, West Coast, is they could throw Cox into the ruck.
So Michael Gardner this afternoon has had 3 marks, 5 possessions, kicked 1 goal, 1.
Just dropped out of the game since that first quarter.
Took the big mark, of course, on half-time, but couldn't convert it. So, as we said, just a bit stagnant at the moment. Allen over the top, Judd. Clever play, opened up for Taylor, who just took a fraction long. Camporelli good, but Kerr will take the mark. And I just can't stop singing the praises of Daniel Kerr.
Yeah, well, here we go to play on over to Gardner.
Oh, beautifully called,
by Gardner.
Beautifully called, Sauce. Well done.
Yeah, you should keep your eye on the ball,
and he did beautifully here, Gardner, because he actually left Matty Allen for dead. Matty Allen was back on the wing, so he may be certainly he's tiring. He's had the first half playing a lone hand. Gardner now will line up, so I'd like to see actually Michael Gardner do a lot more of this.
So Gardner from 50 for the Eagles. A steadying goal is what they need. And Gardner provides.
The Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler is here, thanks to 100% No Fizz G7 Juice. The Jeep Wrangler is blitzing Melbourne's beaches all summer, loaded with heaps of cool Gold 104 gear, plus loads of G7 Juice to quench your summer thirst. Listen to the good times and great classic hits on Gold 104 to find out where the Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler will be this weekend. Brought to you by 100% No Fizz G7 Juice.
So lead goes back out to 20 points. Matty Allen stands his ground. He is getting tight. Camporelli breaks through. And Carlton into attack, knocked down by Jakovic. Taylor for West Coast. Good kick out in front of Gardner, who's run away from Matty Allen again. Chance to drop it into Kerr. No, you'll go to Jones. Over his head to Fletcher. So they have the numbers. He hands off to Jones, over the top to Chris Judd. And that ends up in the Carlton Social Club. Should have made more of it. Justin Murphy lets him know. Chris Judd has been a fine player. Blues giving West Coast no rest as Manton. They switch and go to Gallagher. Pretty short for a marking option out there. Had to go against 2. You'll get a free in the end. So able to get out of it, the Blues. Gallagher, the former Crow, towards wing out in front of Prendergast. Good mark. Turns around quickly. Get it in the forward line. They are sitting back. Gardner was back there. Merrington. Gardner will mop up. West Coast out of danger again. Good kick. Cousins, he's got it. So he was off. Moving it well. Colica chips into Peter Matera. Has time and space. Can go straight at the goal. 55 out and makes no mistake. Beautiful finish. So Peter Matera gets another, and the lead now goes back out to 26 points. Beautiful build-up, Sauce.
It was. Probably actually started down in the Carlton forward line where Gardner actually competed well, gathered the ball, and I think one of the reasons why West Coast have kicked the last couple of goals has been due to his efforts.
Peter Matera, doesn't he love a goal?
And dates, West Coast have had 10 goal kickers, so they're spreading the load.
Good mix.
12-6 to 8-4. The Blues need to answer. No one really got the tap. Suddenly the Eagles finding the footy again in the middle. Gardner had a very big quarter. Fletcher, clever, as is this man. Matera got a couple of options. Goes for the shortest one that was on offer. Haynes can let go. He's about 70 out. It's wobbly, it's scrappy. Houghton dragged it in and did pretty well for the Blues in the end. Beaumont got them clear. Quick kick from Lappin. Allen got hands to it. Jakovic, Gardner to support, which he did that very well. Cleared the path for the big man. His kick wasn't great, but again the numbers winning out. Wapunda, quick as a flash, Miranda, and the short kick was okay.
Short kick, was it 15?
I wouldn't have thought so. Haynes again.
Tucky
it is, you're right.
It was actually questionable, that kick, but he didn't panic. Didn't panic Wirapunda. He managed to get the short kick in. There were Carlton guys sitting back, and he used a usable player.
So Brent Tucky, we know he can kick a long goal when he gets onto it. Well, he's got the distance covered.
Great
Accuracy
kick.
looks pretty good as well.
Take a journey to the outer solar system, billions of miles from Earth.
We have to pass through the asteroid belt.
Experience life on the volatile giants.
The red spot alone is 3 times the size of the Earth.
The Planets, 7:30 Monday.
It's TV baked fresh for your lounge room.
What the?
9:30 Tuesday, Rove chats with the greatest. Will Smith. Plus dynamic duo Merrick and Rosso. And Fight for Fighting sing live. Rove, 9:30 Tuesday.
So West Coast double up on a couple of goals. The lead is back out to 32. Getting on top with Gardner in the middle now. Miranda, Wooden, Kerr out of the middle. West Coast into attack. Sitting back there was Murphy. Knocked out Wirapunda coming into the game. Loose ball, Spawn to Beaumont. Dummies and goes around onto that left foot. Wing it is. Marking option Houghton. Comes down. In the end, Murphy missed it. I don't think it was a great handball from his teammate Andrew Eccles.
No, the handball was okay. He just fumbled the ball.
So Kerr out wide. And this man, David Wirapunda, starting to get his hands on the ball.
Next goal's pretty crucial for the Blues.
14 touches, let's make it 15. Drops it in. The Blues not able to, again under pressure. Knocked through from Hume to Houghton to Campriali, who's been fairly quiet. They share it beautifully now. Matty Lappin, shepherded by Bradley, chips up, and they get it out wide to David Gallagher. So the Blues still a fair way from home. 55 goes in long, no one home, and he hits a post. So everything going West Coast way at the moment, and the Blues only manage that solitary behind.
Really, that was a disappointing result. When Lappin was carrying the ball, the block really should have been applied probably by Craig Bradley, which would have allowed him a running shot at goal.
Taylor went short to Fletcher, out wide, and they changed direction. So able to stretch the Blues at the moment. Tucky well down the ground. Goes back inboard into the corridor. Carroll for West Coast. Defensive 40, and goes in long. Colica one hand to it, comes over to top. Spawn, handed it to Matera, beautifully smothered. So the intensity's still there, no let up from both teams. And we're still in the middle of the ground, favouring West Coast, about 65 from their goal ball up.
Thanks. I think the West Coast work rate has really gone up a notch. I think they're in and under at the moment, and I just feel that they're getting numbers at the ball and they're helping each other out.
So Gardner down to Miranda, works his way clear. Skies the left footer, underneath it Wirapunda. 3 West Coast out here. Matera, a designated player to take it. Cousins does it beautifully under pressure. The finish is over the line on the full. Did all the hard work, and in the end, the Blues will take it out of the back pocket.
Thanks. The finish wasn't great, but just a couple of changes for the Blues. Both Mansfield and Bradley have come off, and I'd say that'll be the game for them as well.
So Stephen Silvani, the assistant coach, conceding the game.
Has given up?
No, I'm not conceding the game. I'm saying where their preparation is at the moment. I think the same will probably be happening with the West Coast guys. There'll be a lot of players out there only playing 2 or 3 quarters.
Controversy in his first game, eh? 13-6 to 8-5. Merrington and Gardner. Hurried kick forward from Miranda. Wilson was last there, but he makes an impact when he gets there. And we'll see behind register the West Coast Eagles. 13-8 to 8-5.
He did well there, young Trent Spawn. He actually rushed the ball through the behinds, and as a defensive player, and I'm sure the coaches would be delighted with the ball going through for a behind.
Murphy kicking in for the Blues. Decent old kick to almost to the centre circle. Good spoil from Colica, but plenty of Blues down to pick up the crumbs. Camporelli, a little bit quiet of late. Chambers works it out. Jones in over the top. And the umpire again calling for the bounce. Well, I said quite of late. He's only had 18 touches of the day, Camperelli.
Well, he's been under pressure with a lot of those touches, Hutto, and I suppose when Camperelli is destructive and at his very best, he's able to work into space and able to really stretch opposition with his running.
Cotton having a run in the ruck at the moment for the Blues. Not going their way, though.
Oh, we're punters alone.
Yep. The kick comes across from Munro. Rapunda about 60 out. He sized them all up, and a good kick. Miranda leading and taking the mark, and can go back and shoot for the Eagles' 14th.
Hutto, you always worry when there's a player that's got the ball virtually in the middle of the ground, and as we see here, as a backman, you always start panicking a little bit because he's got every option under the sun, and he didn't waste that, and Miranda ended up getting a nice, easy mark.
He's been pretty constructive for them in this third quarter, hasn't he, Rapunda, as the quarter's worn on.
You have to ask yourself how a guy like Rapunda is 40 metres clear of any other player.
Well, the kick just away to the left, and disappointing result for Mark Miranda. 13-8 now, plays 8-5.
Blues to bring it in. Eccles. Good kick. Hume will take it. Blues are off and running, half forward, Houghton over his head, running onto it for Voller. No, he becomes a shepherder, and in the end, knocked off the ball. Houghton might have been unfairly allowed to go on. Jones over the head of Braun. Eyes on the ball, then goes around, then keeps control. He does beautifully. Into the middle. West Coast are running, off and running, going at goal and going just wide. Haynes in the end. So only a minor score.
It was great play by Braun. He took the Carlton opponents on, and there were 2 or 3 efforts there, and it's really great to see him playing some good footy.
Michael Gardner coming off for a well-earned rest. Blues sharing it. Matty Lappin given no opportunity. Haynes in the end. Blues out of danger. Yes, Beaumont hands off to Plunkett. Out wide Fletch. No, it was Murphy. He's in big trouble as Cousins come through. Boy, I love him watching him play footy. Tucky on his left foot. Rapunda can go to Fletcher. Will chip it up. Fletcher will run. Wilson will take it. So options galore for West Coast. And that man on screen, David Rapunda, very good in the last 5 minutes.
Folks, just have a look at here the options that the West Coast players had. There were 3 or 4 West Coast players that were free. He had time to spill the ball and actually just size the kick up here, and Troy Wilson once again ends up getting an easy mark.
Fletcher also in the area there, Sauce. So options galore for West Coast. And each time, well, certainly in the last 2 occasions, Carlton mistake, they finish with a West Coast goal. Troy Wilson will go a goal, 35 out, and he makes no mistake. Beautiful goal.
The Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler is here, thanks to 100% No Fizz G7 juice. The Jeep Wrangler is blitzing Melbourne's beaches all summer, loaded with heaps of cool Gold 104 gear, plus loads of G7 juice to quench your summer thirst. Listen to the good times and great classic hits on Gold 104 to find out where the Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler will be this weekend. Brought to you by 100% No Fizz G7 juice.
So the margin out to 40 points now, and the Eagles certainly recovered from their lapse late in the second quarter. Cousins getting them going again in the Wilson direction. Good spoil, good fist from Manton. Wiggins, I'm sure he'd be looking for the line. He had Beaumont just out of the corner of the eye, and Beaumont certainly made sure it went out.
Not a lot of run coming out of defence for the Blues. Not able to just break up the play at the moment. Pretty predictable on their way out. There's a lot of pressure from West Coast, though.
There is. The tempo's just gone out of the game, but I just feel that the West Coast boys are just using the ball a lot better.
Tucky, great stuff. Matera's had 7 possessions in this quarter, and that one creates another goal for Tucky.
There it
is.
I think you're in the rough, mate.
With the all-new Ford Explorer, there are no boundaries.
3 goals to Brent Tuckey, the former Pie. Doing quite well. Camporelli, Carlton into attack. It's a Carlton free. Prendergast in the end.
That's the 3rd time he's got a free kick from playing in front, Dakes.
He was running at the ball, and here it is again. And Colica, eyes on the ball, straight into the back. So Prendergast with a chance for the Blues. They need a goal, and he delivers. So they get one back, the Blues, Prendergast. West Coast still in control. It's 15-9, 99 West Coast. The Blues are 9-5, 59.
I suppose that's the reward you get from playing in front. You end up getting a free kick. But that probably was caused from a quick kick out of the middle by Camporelli, and as a forward, there's nothing better than a quick kick out of the middle, so you get the first chance of getting the ball.
Prendergast, his first. He had a couple of shots early in the game that missed.
They had Wooden on him early in the game, and since Colica has sat back there, Prendergast has gone out of it.
So the margin again at 40. Camporelli scrapping and just ensuring the ball didn't go anywhere.
Although, to be fair to a lot of the Blue forwards, the way the ball's coming in, there's been a hell of a lot of pressure in and across midfield. So trying to break into space, the Blues, and have a little bit of time to deliver it in the forward line has been non-existent.
He's had a heavy load today, Camporelli. 20th possession. Hume overwhelmed by numbers. Braun, the initial fumble. And in the end, the handball was a bit errant. He's going to get a free kick. In fact, it's not going to Braun, but it is going to his teammate in the middle of the ground, Daniel Kerr, who goes very short. Braun fell over. But he did well from the ground to keep it going. Certainly a high tackle there.
Terrific player under pressure, Benny Cousins.
Kicked it quickly, and that's a good mark, Merrington. They might have found someone back in defence today. A couple of steadying marks from Merrington. Plunkett on the way out. Allen pushing forward. Oh, Crawley. Well, he played on, so it won't be a score. We saw last night Spider Everett getting a point from probably a similar position, if not back further on the siren. Last quarter then from Optus Oval. The West Coast Eagles leading by 40. Been an excellent debut for John Worsfold, returning to familiar territory here at Carlton, where he spent 2 years under Wayne Britton and David Parkin. He would have seen a lot of that man, Craig Bradley. Carlton trying to keep the ball in their forward line. Matera coming out though, and Fletcher cleaning it up. Oh, well weighted, just over the head then of O'Keefe, who's come on. Miranda, Judd backing himself in. A couple of bounces, bold stuff from Judd, and unfortunately, he's hit the post. It was a great run though.
That was
sensational.
Brilliant. That is talent. I think the West Coast supporters would be delighted to have this guy at the footy club. He's only 18, and he had the poise of a bloke that played probably 100 games, and what a fantastic pickup he is.
He took that second bounce, and a lot of pressure bearing down on him, but he knew what he could do. Plunkett, as the Blues travel the outer side. Allen, too tall that time for Tuckey. Laying it off well. Kick forward from Gallagher.
Favoula's actually been moved up to centre-half forward.
See how he goes there. Lappin presented himself. Here's Prendergast. Big chance for a goal. Should kick it from there. He steadied well and closed it out.
Where can you go to get the biggest range of mobiles on a choice of the 3 biggest digital networks? It's all at Strathfield, the right choice. Yes, we've still got $0 phones. The feature-packed Nokia 3310 free on the tailored 33 plan, with $33 of included calls a month and yes time. Plus your choice of 2 free DVD movies. Free Nokia 3310 with fun games and vibration alert. free DVD movies and Yes Time. The best mobile deals. Strathfield, the right choice. Call 1311 77.
Back in the middle. Blues trail by 35. Knocked down Fletcher to his skipper in Cousins. Goal here. Virtually will knock Carlton out. Sitting back on his own is Houghton. Chips out. Livingston back in defence. And stint up forward earlier in the game in that second quarter. Chips out to Hume. Moment, no run for the Blues. I need to get it, work it into space. No free. Rapunda to mop up for West Coast. It's had a fine game. Good kick, and he finds Taylor. So Richard Taylor has done a bit of the kicking in. Rapunda, 17 touches. It's been good, so they're just sharing it around at the moment. Happy to keep possession.
This is where they need to be patient. Carlton have got numbers back.
Miranda dropping back for the Blues. Mansfield, as he normally does, puts his body on the line, plunked it through the traffic. So Spawn out wider to Livingston on that left foot. Favola wasn't able to take it. Miranda wrapped up by the Blues. Loose ball will come out. Daniel Kerr does enough. Just toe poked it over the line. Boundary throw in.
Just got the feeling that Johnny Worsfold really wants to win this game. A couple of his older players who might really be due for a bit of a rest in Jakovic and also Matera is still out on the ground, so I'm pretty sure he wants to get off to a good start with West Coast.
Plunkett, not able to find anyone. Judd, the retarder, did beautifully. Miranda through the traffic. Judd to run back onto it, controlled and kept it out in front of himself. At his feet, not fazed by the pressure. Plenty of players around this ball, no clear possession, and a ball up will result. Chrissy Judd, boy, Sauce, he's been a real... Look, if he can maintain this type of form, a huge bonus for West Coast.
Oh, for sure. He's a quality player and only going to get better with more games he plays.
10 possessions for the day for Judd. Miranda. Handy little hand pass. Unfortunately, it went to Spawn instead. And now the Blues away through Plunkett. He's got Allen on the wing. He goes shorter than that. Bit of a shove. The umpire obviously didn't spot it. Rapunda, quick kick around the body. Cousins, Houghton. Good late spoil, wasn't it? Bradley. Plunkett. Murphy.
They got that Allen free. He gets it on quickly.
He didn't.
Blues have to work it into the middle at the moment. Very wide with their possessions under a lot of pressure. This is better.
O'Keefe's kick is just not to the advantage of Lappin. And the mark taken in defence. He's been playing on Lappin all day, Casey Green. Done a reasonable job. He got himself into a bit of trouble, but gets himself out of it. Let's have a look at Kerr here. Well, he lost his footing initially, and in the end, he's outpointed a little bit more experience, perhaps from Gallagher, the former Crow, and he delivers well for Favola.
Well done by young Gallagher. He persisted there and ended up winning the ball.
Oh, well, no free kick.
Oh, he's hurt. Someone's hurt.
We'll get that in a moment. It was Lappin, but he's up and about. He's okay. Houghton getting it going. O'Keefe out wide. Murphy, a bit of pace up. This is Camporelli now. He went in and out and under and over and around the back and got it out to Houghton. Houghton unloads it. Good kick. Good kick into the space. And once again, Favola can line up.
The same position that Favola had a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm a great believer with this kid, Dates. He is a long kick, and I just think if it's hard enough to get the ball inside 50, and if you can kick over 50 metres, you should be having a shot at goal, and probably what he should have done last time, but let's see if he can kick one now.
How many did he kick in that Millennium game? About 14 or something, wasn't it? You probably weren't even playing, Sauce.
Not partying, Dave.
Behind, Favola lets himself down again with his kicking. 10-6, Carlton. And the West Coast 15-10.
A lot of the talls of the Blues just running the line at the moment. Taylor brings it in. Jakovic is the target. Does beautifully to let the ball run. He'll run onto it. Great experience. On his left foot. Goes in. Putting himself in was Tucky. 3 goals for West Coast. It's been good. Gallagher. Blues need a little bit of run. Beaumont. Oh, knocked away Miranda. Should finish. 40 and misses. That certainly would have put the icing on the cake for West Coast. Render's been very good, and Sauce, they lead by 35 points, West Coast.
He really should have made the Blues pay there. He made the effort to get the intercept. Probably could have steadied a little bit to kick that goal, but he's had a terrific game. He's an opportunist, and certainly it's been an impressive start to this season by Miranda.
Camporelli's had 20 possessions today for Carlton.
Just for West Coast fans, Cousins has come off the ground.
Murphy, Plunkett. Blues starting to build through the middle. Mansfield, Bradley. So a few experienced players still out there. To the 50, Favola outpointed by Carroll that time. He rode the bump pretty well. Able to get it clear. He's going to get a free kick now.
I think Favola, even though he was under a lot of pressure and he can't mark it, you still have to try and work the ball into an area that you get another bite at it. And in the end, the ball goes behind him far too often.
Low kick, the delivery pretty good for Judd. As we've mentioned, has been exciting for them. Very short. O'Keefe, the spoiler, did well on Miranda, and he's done well since he's come on, really, O'Keefe. Eagles a bit scrappy there, and the ball jolted out of the arms of Tucky, and it's over and out.
Well, 5,217 people have journeyed or come along today to Optus. Hutto?
They haven't seen a bad match. I don't think too many of them will be all that happy with the result at the moment.
About 217 would be West Coast supporters.
Wapunda and Taylor combining there. Good spoil from Houghton, Matera, Franchina. It was an interesting handball. The umpire spotted it as a throw.
It's just interesting there, Hutto. Two players were waiting for the handball, and one of them should have gone into block just to help Jimmy Plunkett out.
How's that delivery?
Right on the spot. Wilson, with that terrific-looking mouth guard, takes the mark and can go back and have a shot for goal.
Troy Wilson has had a fine game. He hasn't had a lot of the ball, but I think what the stat you don't see there is just his ability to use his bulk or run a few of the Carlton players away. On a lot of occasions, it's taken two Carlton players to contest against Troy Wilson.
2 goals from 2 kicks so far for Big Troy. So this one shouldn't be a problem.
Beautiful kick.
And it's not. Another one, that's their 16th.
At its new time of 8:30 Wednesday.
I just let him do what he wanted.
Don't believe her lies. It's 1 hour of first-class drama. 2 unforgettable cases.
You'll make me safe.
He's the bad boy lawyer, and he'll bend every rule.
How do you know that he was there? I know.
In this world, you do anything to win. Well, almost anything. Simon Baker is the Guardian. 8:30 Wednesday.
Great pass from Peter Matera. Off a step. Troy Wilson, as Hutto mentioned, 3 kicks, 3 goals. They now lead by 42 points, so pretty easy at the moment. They go into attack again, working well at ground level. Matera not far away, puts himself in spawn. Franchina handed off by Murphy. So through the traffic, Carlton do well. They get it out wide now. Livingston on that left foot, and again pretty wayward in their disposal. The Blues wide, and he finds the boundary with that kick.
Peter Matera just looks like he's copped a little corky there. You don't really need those halfway through the last quarter.
So Blues 66, West Coast 107. 41-point lead. Cox, clear advantage. Taps it or went towards Jones. Murphy stole it. Hume for the Blues. Hands to Houghton. Carlton really do need a goal. Going on for Vola. Will go into the middle. Good kick. Lappin, good mark under pressure. So Casey Green didn't do a lot wrong there. Right on Matty Lappin's hammer. Matty Lappin, not a lot of him, but in the end, always puts his body on the line. But the Blues, Favola, working further up the ground now.
He hasn't had a huge game, Matty Lappin. He's only had 10 or 11 touches, but the great thing about Matty, he only needs 5 or 6 and he'll kick you 3 or 4 goals.
So Allen to give the Blues a little bit of hope, and it may have been lost with that kick. Unable to finish off, and the lead is cut back to 40 points.
So we're about the midway stage. of the last quarter. It's been an impressive hit out by the West Coast Eagles under John Worsfold. They had so many injury problems last year, so many leg injuries, guys like Sierakowski and Reed, Braun, missing for long periods of time. So they're getting a few of those guys back, and they'll get a few more in the next month or so. Could be a much more competitive lineup than last year. The expectations certainly won't be that high for John Worsfold.
They've certainly got a good spread of midfielders, Hutto. They've recruited very well in that manner.
Reed just trying to get a handle on it. Worked his way nicely back around Gallagher and advanced the cause. Miranda setting it high. Wapunda a couple to beat. Good spoil back there again from Merrington. Plunkett edged off it by Chambers. Allowed Judd to get through. He's pretty smooth. He kicked off the right boot that time. Good spoil on Cox, but he cleared the path for Rapunda. Thought he might have had a shot. In the end, he just delayed the kick, and it was smothered. And the ball over the line, and plaudits for young Luke Livingston.
It was a good smother. He kept at it, so he ended up getting the block on it. And I know Wayne Britton be very happy with that. That's what you've got to do if you're playing down back. Never concede.
About 70 around from goal. 16-11 plays 10-7 at Optus. This is Mansfield. Hemmed him against the line. Houghton, just not 15. And the players will take a while to get accustomed to that, but that's a rule that's going to stay during the season. Camporelli, another possession. All in all, he's had 22 now, and that one won't go down as one of his more memorable kicks. Out on the full. Gardner to take the free for the Eagles.
Well, no options further up the ground at the moment for West Coast, or Carlton, I should say. Briali finding the boundary as Gardner runs off and goes in long. No one home back there. Should be picked up by the Blues. Two collide. In the end, West Coast still with a chance here. Loose ball will come. Tapping it beautifully and trying to keep it in was Chambers. Boundary wins out. Boundary throwing. But more importantly, West Coast with another chance at goal. Lead by 40. Callum Chambers.
They haven't dropped their intensity, West Coast, and I'm sure Johnny Worsfold would be loving this.
So down it comes to Franchino. Head to the other side of the ground. Beaumont just chips it up. Murphy. There's Camporelli running. Goes and, I don't think he was expecting it. And in the end, Braun cut it off. So West Coast keeping the pressure and keeping it inside their forward line. Troy Wilson will fly. Loose ball will come to Houghton. Unable to control. Beaumont in a support role.
Great kick.
To Murphy. They get it to Spawn, and again, stopping and wondering where their next passage will be. He goes out to Mansfield, who went to go, then stopped, and now goes around far too easy. Blues will move it in. Side, that's a good mark. Lindsay Smith takes it for the Blues. Time running out, 16 gone, and again a wayward pass. Loose ball, Braun through the traffic. Left foot. Heads in, Tucky took it. West Coast, the real chance. Tripped in the end, no. Had to go on. Unlucky in the end for West Coast. Chambers it was, and he's penalised.
He was definitely legged. The umpire was a bit off balance, and he just must have seen it.
Well, we could see it from 150 metres away, Hutto, but anyway, ends up with Murphy just outside 50. Twists and turns, balances, good kick in the end, and finds his teammate in Spawn. Now it's Thornton for the Blues.
Here we see that trip. And no question that that was a free kick.
Thornton will have another go at goal. Had a lot of the ball, started the game on the bench, but as part of the new group that Wayne Britton has been able to introduce, or hopes to introduce to this Blues lineup in 2002, and he goes at goal and didn't look too confident. Only a minor score.
What's the report card, do you think, on the young players today for Carlton, Steve?
Well, I think there's not too many that really have stood up, but they're getting 4 quarters of footy, or some of them are only getting a couple, and we've seen a number have come on since after half-time. So young Thornton, he's had 6 touches, so and he's a rookie, and I think they'd be reasonably happy with his performance.
Kerr kicking in for the Eagles. And it took too long, or he walked out of the square. He walked out of the square, apparently.
I think
Richard
that might
Taylor.
be a time issue, actually.
Interesting move from Johnny Worsfold. Richard Taylor doing the kicking in.
And I think they've got an idea that he might be a small defender for them this year, in amongst being on the ball. So we're going to see the ball up. Gardner. We're trying to concede it through for a behind, you would suspect. Plunkett didn't have a snap, went for Bradley. Right there with him was Reid. He's been with him for a lot of the day. And the Eagles have managed to get it out of the danger area, at least for the moment. Franchina attacked it but didn't take the ball. Jones now Wooden, and a bit of flow coming up for the Eagles. Tucky just lost the footing at the last minute, allowed Murphy to come in. Good backing up though. Reid's kick is all right. Rapunda and Houghton. Cousins back to Rapunda. And from 40, it's a wobbly helicopter Kernahan-like kick, which goes across the face and is out of bounds.
He's got terrific recovery with Rapunda. He actually got spoiled in that marking contest, but he was able to turn around and gather the ball. He didn't execute the kick that well, but certainly he's a player to watch.
And he's a player that really should be, I hope to see played in midfield. Cousins will go at goal and should have and could have finished the Blues off. Only a minor score.
He really does want to win this game, Johnny Worsfold. He's brought Cousins back onto the ground, so there's no question he wants to finish this game off.
Well, 28 scoring shots to West Coast. That in itself gives you a fair idea of just how they've dominated this game, West Coast. Ball comes in. Wiggins kicks to himself and goes to Houghton again. Flew against two, and it might have come off his head. Finds a boundary throwing. West Coast still into attack.
They've actually found it hard to find options, Carlton, on the kick-ins. They've created a very good zone defence, the West Coast forward line, and it just, on that occasion, once again, they found it difficult to get it out.
Ball comes in. Gardner does beautifully take Merrington out of it, then fends it off. Judd runs onto it, kicks it into the forward line. Miranda does beautifully on that left foot, unguarded goal square. Will centre the ball. Troy Wilson back there. Players flying. Tucky was there also. Livingston kicked it out with his knee. Watch this guy go. Normally uses it. Cousins beautiful to Wirapunda. And this could well and truly finish the Blues off. They probably have been gone for a long time, but 18.5 minutes into this last quarter, David Wirapunda with a big chance. But boy, Sauce, what a player this guy is.
Yeah, looks like he's in for a big season. He looks super fit, and we don't have to question his kicking skills because he's put on an exhibition today.
So Wirapunda with a chance to finish officially the Blues off, and he does it with style. Only a minor score. Well, it's enough though. I'll back.
The Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler is here, thanks to 100% No Fizz G7 juice. The Jeep Wrangler is blitzing Melbourne's beaches all summer, loaded with heaps of cool Gold 104 gear, plus loads of G7 juice to quench your summer thirst. Listen to the good times and great classic hits on Gold 104 to find out where the Channel 10 Gold 104 Jeep Wrangler will be this weekend. Brought to you by 100% No Fizz G7 juice.
Toughest things to do in footy, actually carry the ball, bounce the ball on 3 or 4 occasions and try and kick a goal. You do get very tired.
You done it a few times, Steve?
I get tired when I just run.
Djakovic takes the mark.
How long have you been retired, Sauce?
About 4 months.
He's just stacking it on.
Tell you what, I might give you my toupee, Dakes.
Staying in that slimming suit.
I'll tell you what, Hutto, they're battling the Blues, but I'll tell you, they look pretty sure at full back, though.
No calls from the coach's box at this stage. Carroll,
good
smothered. Terrific play. Young Thornton it was. And Carroll gets another chance. And that's had it for a long time.
Fantastic play by the kid. He is a rookie, and I can tell you that Carlton Match Committee will be delighted the way he's gone about the game.
Important that the kids do finish it off, Sauce.
Well, it is. They've got the opportunity now to do that, and both coaches would be wanting their younger players to really run this game out.
Some interference there, and the free kick is going to Prendergast. It's just probably a fraction too far out the score. Lappin leads one way. He goes longer. right to the square. Almost the mark down there to young Lindsay Smith. Oh, Braun had a swing and a miss. And a goal should be kicked by Franchina for the Blues. So Anthony Franchina is added to the Carlton goal kickers list. And the Blues 11-9-75. West Coast 16-13, 109.
Yeah, he really hasn't kicked too many goals in his time, Anthony Franchina, but he got a lovely handball out here and ended up kicking a goal. We see here the Carlton pressure just causing that spillage, but nice handball by O'Keefe, and Franchina playing the back up. Be delighted with that goal.
Did beautifully. Good hands, and in the end, Franchina just running into the path virtually of his Carlton teammate. Gardner, Plunkett, styled it. Fletcher, Blues into attack. Just inside 50. Could have been a free for Vola. Tries to go around. He threw it out in the end. And seen that way by the umpire. West Coast will take it. Been terrific just being able to retard the Blues today. Fletcher.
Prendergast in a bit of trouble. We saw there, Dax.
It's like he's rolled his ankle a little bit.
Still in the middle, West Coast. Just forward. Chambers has it to Gardner. Gardner will chip up, and Cousins on that outer side. So just happy to just keep possession at the moment. And Matty Allen dropped out of it. Gardner did very well in that third quarter to run him around. So Cousins to the square. Oh, over the back. Could have been let go by Judd. Off the ground by Judd. Now it's touched off the line.
Well, I think you're right, Dax. I think the initial kick might have made it through, except that it hit a West Coast player right on the line.
May have been Judd. Trying to make amends. Only a minor score.
We'll see it here. It's actually hit Judd's boot.
Then he had another swipe at it, and Wiggins was the player that was there for the Blues.
Ashley was forced through.
Was he over the line, though?
There was actually a spoil when the ball went onto Judd's boot.
Well, the Blues have worked it back into play. This is Beaumont now breaking from half-back. Gets good distance on the kick and penetration. Manton's being pushed forward. Claimed the mark. Here's Thornton again. This time worked off it by Wooden, who kicked it very high and not quite over the line. Now it is.
Wooden did well just to knock his Carlton counterpart.
A lot to like about the Eagles today, though, Sauce, even though they have played against an undermanned Carlton team.
Yeah, and on the other side of the coin, they've got a number of players out, the West Coast Eagles, but Johnny Worsfold will be delighted with the even spread of contributors right over the playing field, and I'm pretty sure they've taken out instructions from the first time they ran onto the ground, and they're continuing on in this last quarter.
Tucky's kicked 3 goals for them, as has Troy Wilson. 2 goals to Haynes and Gardner. Singles to Taylor, Cousins, Chambers, Miranda, Matera and Reid. So it's been a good spread of goal kickers for the Blues. Plunkett and Lappin and Prendergast have all kicked 2 goals. The Eagles trying to get another late goal. They lead at the moment by 35, and here's Troy Wilson to try and kick his 4th goal from 4 kicks if he can.
Boy, he moves well for a big man. Came straight at that ball, and look, as I said earlier, I mean, he has a chance now to kick his 4th goal, and there hasn't been a huge reliance on him. I mean, it has been shared around, so...
Dakes, I've said it on a number of occasions today. He has worked hard, though. I've watched him closely, and he's been leading. As soon as the ball's been going across the centre line, he's been presenting, and he's got the rewards at the end of this game.
Gee, he makes the ball his.
He's certainly been one of many highlights for the West Coast today, and his kicking has been spot on. 4 goals from 4 kicks for Troy Wilson. And the West Coast 17 goals, 14. Carlton 11-9. And
we just see here that is at the centre of the ground, and he's come out of the goal square. Just have a look at him on that lead. Well, you wouldn't want to get in his way, and certainly he's done that all day.
And the other good thing about his game has been his willingness to run 30-40 metres to get to the ball. So he's willing to just hold it back, allows himself the space, and in the end, more importantly, these West Coast teammates
Just
him that
interesting to
space.
see those possessions. 5 possessions he's had for 4 goals.
So 17-14 to 11-9. Closing stages of this match. Out of the middle, quick kick forward from Kerr. The Eagles trying to get another late one if they can. Murphy has time. And as we said, this is what he likes to do. Carry the footy and bring it into attack, and that's good delivery that time. Brendan Favola a long way from home, perhaps too far from home. Lappin made the initial lead, then doubled back. Lindsay Smith's down in the goal square. Might get a chance to run at one. No, Favola gives it everything. He gives it everything and puts it through. Terrific kick from Favola. And a late one for the Blues.
Yeah, well, he'd be delighted with that. That's the thing about Brendan Favola. He can kick outside 50, and when you're a defender on him, if he does mark outside the 50-metre line, well, you know, he's still a chance to kick the goal. And we just saw here what a wonderful kick he is. He got a lovely kick by Fraser Murphy, who's got fantastic skills, but this is his bread and butter, and he's ended up slotting it through.
Brendan Favola goals, and the Blues get a late goal, so all that does is just make their score look a little bit better.
Dakes, I actually mentioned my old teammate there, Fraser Murphy. It was actually Justin Murphy.
Well, that's Justin Murphy it was.
Well, there it is. The West Coast defeating an undermanned Carlton side, 17-14, 116 to 12-9, 81. Troy Wilson with 4 goals, Brent Tuckey with 3. A number of multiples for the Blues, but a convincing win here to the West Coast Eagles over Carlton. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Port Adelaide will take on Essendon. That'll be our match on Network 10 Sport tomorrow as the Wizard Cup continues. But thanks for joining us today, Sauce and Dakes. It's been a good performance by the Eagles, a bit disappointing for Carlton.
Yeah, no question that Johnny Worsfold will be delighted with the performance, and Wayne Britton, well, they've got a bit of work ahead of them.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and as we said, we're back with more footy tomorrow on Network 10.